a night that changed everything. Crystal chandeliers cast dancing shadows across the marble floors of the Grand Pacific Hotel ballroom. Jessica Monroe stood near the terrace doors, her emerald dress catching the light as she pretended to admire the city skyline through the floor-to-ceiling windows. In reality, she was plotting her escape route. Brandon Walsh had been following her for the past 40 minutes. His cologne arrived before he did, a heavy cloud of expensive musk that made her stomach turn. She had tried every polite excuse in her repertoire, but he refused to take the hint. "You know, Jessica," Brandon said, appearing at her elbow again, his hand hovering too close to her waist, "a woman like you shouldn't be standing alone at an event like this. Let me keep you company." Jessica forced a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "I'm actually waiting for someone." "Sure you are." His laugh was oily, presumptuous. "Come on, don't be like that. I saw you arrive alone. We could grab a drink, talk about opportunities. I have connections that could benefit someone in your position." Her jaw tightened. Brandon had no idea what her actual position was, and she preferred to keep it that way. These charity events were supposed to be her escape from the corporate world, a chance to support causes she cared about without the weight of her title. But men like Brandon saw a woman alone and assumed vulnerability. "I appreciate the offer, but I really am fine," she said, her voice firm now. His hand touched her lower back. "Don't be difficult." "Sorry I'm late, sweetheart." The voice came from behind her, deep and steady. Before Jessica could turn, a tall man stepped beside her with easy confidence. He wore the simple black uniform of the hotel security staff, but something about his presence commanded attention. His dark hair was slightly tousled, and his hazel eyes held a warmth that immediately put her at ease. Without hesitation, he placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. Protective, not possessive. Traffic was absolutely crazy tonight. He continued smoothly, extending his other hand to Brandon. "Tyler Bennett. You must be one of Jessica's colleagues." Brandon blinked, clearly thrown off balance. We were just talking. It's nice of you to keep her company while she waited," Tyler said, his smile polite but his grip on Jessica's shoulder reassuring. "But I've got her from here. The valet just brought the car around, honey. We should probably get going if we want to make our reservation." Jessica caught on immediately. She leaned into Tyler slightly, letting relief wash through her voice. "You made it. I was starting to worry." Brandon's expression shifted from confident to confused, to irritated in rapid succession. "I didn't realize you were here with someone." "Well, now you do," Tyler said pleasantly. "Have a good evening?" They stood there, a united front, until Brandon finally muttered something about networking and disappeared into the crowd. The moment he was out of sight, Jessica exhaled deeply, her shoulders dropping as the tension released. "Thank you," she whispered. "I've been trying to shake him all night." Tyler released her shoulder and stepped back, giving her space. "I could see that from across the room." Guy had Predator written all over him. He rubbed the back of his neck, suddenly looking a bit embarrassed. "I hope I didn't overstep. I just figured you needed an exit strategy. You have no idea how much I needed that." Jessica studied him more carefully now. "You work security here?" "Just tonight, actually. I usually work as an emergency dispatcher, but the hotel owner is a friend. He needed extra hands for the gala." Tyler shrugged. "The extra cash helps. I've got a daughter to support." Something about his honesty was disarming. In Jessica's world, people usually led with what they wanted from her. Tyler led with the truth. "Well, emergency dispatcher / security guard, I owe you one. Can I at least buy you a coffee? There's a place down the street that stays open late."
"Oh, Lance."
Tyler glanced at his watch, then smiled. "My shift just ended, actually. Coffee sounds perfect." Coffee and Confessions, the late-night diner 3 blocks away, was a stark contrast to the elegant ballroom. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead and the air smelled of fresh coffee and apple pie. Jessica had never been more grateful for normal. They slid into a corner booth, and Tyler ordered black coffee, while Jessica opted for chamomile tea.
So,
she said, wrapping her hands around the warm mug. "Emergency dispatcher. That must be intense. It has its moments." Tyler's expression grew thoughtful. "You're basically the calm voice on the other end, when someone's having the worst day of their life. It's stressful, but it matters. Plus, the schedule works with my daughter's school hours. How old is she? 7. Her name's Chloe. Tyler's entire face softened when he mentioned her. She's this incredible little tornado of energy and opinions. Last week she informed me that dinosaurs are cooler than superheroes because they're scientifically proven. I couldn't really argue with that logic. Jessica laughed, a genuine sound that surprised her. She sounds amazing, she is. Tyler pulled out his phone and showed her a picture. A little girl with wild brown curls and gap-toothed smile beamed at the camera, holding up a clay dinosaur. She made that in art class. It's supposed to be a T-Rex, but it looks more like a potato with teeth. It's perfect, Jessica said softly. Tyler's smile faded slightly. Her mom passed away 3 years ago. Car accident. Some nights, I still don't know what I'm doing, but Chloe keeps me going. She's the reason I took the dispatcher job in the first place. Steady income, benefits, and I can be home when she needs me. Jessica's heart clenched. I'm so sorry, Tyler. That must have been incredibly difficult. It still is some days. He took a sip of his coffee. But you find ways to keep moving forward. We have Pancake Fridays now. Chloe picks the shape, and we make a mess of the kitchen. Last week was unicorns. The week before was supposed to be stars, but they looked more like blobs. Why Fridays? Because by Friday, we both need something to look forward to. Something that's just ours. Jessica felt something shift in her chest. She had spent years building an empire, attending events, making deals worth millions. But she couldn't remember the last time someone had talked about something mattering simply because it brought joy. What about you? Tyler asked. What do you do when you're not being rescued from creepy guys at charity events? Jessica hesitated. This was the moment she usually deflected or gave a vague answer about consulting. But something about Tyler's openness made her want to reciprocate, at least partially. I work in entertainment. Management side of things? It wasn't a lie, just not the whole truth. It's demanding. Lots of travel, long hours, big decisions that affect a lot of people. Sounds stressful. It is. I don't really have Pancake Fridays, she smiled ruefully. I should probably work on that. Everyone should have something that's just theirs, Tyler said. Something that has nothing to do with work or responsibility. What do you do for fun? Jessica thought about it. I collect vintage records. Jazz, mostly. There's something about the sound of vinyl that digital just can't capture. And I volunteer at an animal shelter on Saturday mornings when I'm in town. At records and rescue animals. I like it, Tyler grinned. See? That's your Pancake Friday. They talked until the diner staff started stacking chairs on tables, signaling closing time. Jessica couldn't remember the last time she had felt this comfortable with someone new. This scene beyond her accomplishments and bank account as they stood outside in the cool night air. Tyler walked her to her car. Thank you again, Jessica said, for rescuing me and for the coffee. Anytime. Tyler's smile was genuine. And hey, if you're ever back in town on a Saturday morning, there's a farmer's market near the harbor. Chloe and I go every week. Best fresh donuts in the city. Jessica found herself smiling. I might just take you up on that. She drove home that night with Tyler's number saved in her phone and the strangest feeling blooming in her chest. It felt suspiciously like hope. And for someone who had spent the last decade building walls around her personal life, that was both terrifying and wonderful. The city lights blurred past her windows as she replayed the evening in her mind. She had gone to that gala expecting another forgettable night of small talk and obligation. Instead, she had met someone who made her laugh, who talked about his daughter with such pure love, who had stepped in to help without expecting anything in return. Jessica Monroe, CEO of Monroe Entertainment Group, had spent years being untouchable. But Tyler Bennett, the emergency dispatcher, with kind eyes and Pancake Fridays, had somehow reached her anyway, and that changed everything. Saturday morning sunshine, the farmer's market buzzed with life under the morning sun. Jessica walked through the entrance, feeling oddly nervous. She had negotiated multi-million-dollar deals without breaking a sweat. But the thought of seeing Tyler and meeting his daughter made her palms damp. She spotted them near the donut stand. Tyler wore a faded blue shirt and jeans, his hair catching the sunlight. Beside him, Chloe bounced on her toes, her curls tied back with a rainbow scrunchie. It came. Chloe announced before Tyler even noticed Jessica approaching. The little girl's eyes went wide with excitement. "Daddy," she came. Tyler turned, and his face lit up with a smile that made Jessica's heart skip. "Hey, I wasn't sure you'd actually show up. I promised, didn't I?" Jessica knelt down to Chloe's eye level. "You must be Chloe. Your dad told me you're an expert on dinosaurs." Chloe nodded seriously. "I know 43 different species. Want to hear about them?" Chloe, Tyler laughed. "Maybe let's start with donuts first?" They spent the morning wandering through the market stalls. Chloe held Jessica's hand without hesitation, chattering about everything from her favorite teacher to why purple was scientifically the best color. Tyler walked beside them, carrying bags of fresh vegetables and homemade bread, occasionally catching Jessica's eye with an expression that seemed to say, "Welcome to my world." At the flower stand, Chloe insisted on picking out sunflowers. "Because they're happy flowers," she explained. "And you look like you need happy flowers." Jessica accepted the bouquet, her throat tight with unexpected emotion. "Thank you, Chloe. These are perfect." "Do you have kids?" Chloe asked innocently. "No, I don't. Do you want kids?" Tyler interjected gently. "That's pretty personal, kiddo." "It's okay," Jessica said softly. "I never really thought about it much. My work keeps me pretty busy. What do you do?" Chloe tilted her head with genuine curiosity. Jessica glanced at Tyler, then back at Chloe. "I help run a company that makes movies and TV shows, like cartoons." Chloe's eyes went wide. "Sometimes, yes. That's so cool. Daddy used to draw buildings, but now he helps people on the phone when they're scared." Tyler ruffled his daughter's hair. "That's one way to put it." As they walked toward the parking area, Chloe skipped ahead, and Tyler moved closer to Jessica. "She likes you," he said quietly. "She doesn't warm up to people that quickly. I like her too." "She's remarkable, Tyler." "Yeah, she is." He paused. "Listen, I know this might be forward, but we usually make pizza on Sunday nights. Homemade, very messy, mostly edible. Would you want to join us?" Jessica should have said no. She should have kept her distance, maintained the boundary between this simple, beautiful world and her complicated reality. But when she looked at Tyler's hopeful expression, she found herself nodding. "I'd love that." Sunday nights and Secret Truth Sunday dinner became a ritual. Then Tuesday movie nights. Then Thursday park visits after Chloe's gymnastics class. Jessica found herself rearranging conference calls and pushing meetings to make time for Tyler and Chloe. Her assistant noticed but said nothing. Though her raised eyebrows spoke volumes, Jessica's penthouse apartment, usually so quiet and pristine, now had children's drawings on the refrigerator. Chloe's artwork featuring dinosaurs wearing crowns and eating pizza. Tyler had started keeping a spare change of clothes in her guest room for the nights when dinner ran late and Chloe fell asleep on the couch. One evening, as they cleaned up after a particularly enthusiastic pizza-making session, Tyler came up behind Jessica at the sink. His hand brushed her waist, and she turned to face him. "Thank you," he said softly, "for being part of our lives, for caring about Chloe, for making our little world bigger." Jessica's heart hammered. "Tyler, I need to tell you something." Later, he whispered, leaning closer, "Right now, I just want to kiss you." And he did. Gentle and perfect, tasting like tomato sauce and promise. When they pulled apart, Chloe's voice rang out from the living room. "Are you guys kissing? That's gross, but also good because it means we're a family now." They both laughed, and Tyler called back, "We're just cleaning up nosy pants." But as Jessica watched Tyler join his daughter, tickling her until she squealed with laughter, guilt twisted in her stomach. They thought she was just Jessica, who worked in entertainment management. They had no idea she was Jessica Monroe, the CEO whose company had recently acquired Bennett and Associates, the architecture firm where Tyler had worked before his wife died, the same acquisition that had resulted in layoffs and restructuring that had cost Tyler his dream job. She had discovered the connection 2 weeks ago while reviewing quarterly reports. When she saw Tyler Bennett's name on the old employee roster, her blood had run cold. The timeline matched perfectly. His wife had died, and 3 months later, Monroe Entertainment had absorbed his firm as part of their real estate development expansion. Tyler had been let go in the restructuring, along with 30 other employees. Jessica had built her empire through tough decisions. She never apologized for success. But this felt different. This felt personal. Every moment she spent with Tyler and Chloe, the secret grew heavier. She told herself she would tell him soon. Next week, after Chloe's birthday. When the time was right, but when was the right time to admit you had unknowingly destroyed someone's career before falling in love with them? Cracks in the foundation 3 months into their relationship. Tyler asked Jessica to move in. They were sitting on her balcony, the city lights sparkling below them. Chloe was asleep in the guest room, her tiny body curled around a stuffed triceratops. "I know it's fast," Tyler said, taking her hand. "And I know my apartment is tiny compared to this place. But I wake up every morning wishing you were there." Chloe asks, when you're coming over, before she even asks about breakfast. "We're already a family, Jessica. I want to make it official." Jessica's eyes filled with tears. "Tyler, there's something I have to tell you first." "You're married?" He joked weakly, seeing her expression. "No, nothing like that." She took a deep breath. "I haven't been completely honest with you about who I am." Tyler frowned. "What do you mean?" "My company. It's not just any entertainment company. I'm the CEO of Monroe Entertainment Group. We own studios, production companies, and we've been expanding into real estate development. 3 years ago, we acquired Bennett and Associates." The color drained from Tyler's face. "What? I didn't know at first. I swear I didn't make the connection until a few weeks ago. But when I saw the acquisition reports, I recognized your name." "Tyler, I'm so sorry. My company is the reason you lost your job. The restructuring, the layoffs, that was all under my direction." Tyler stood abruptly, running his hands through his hair. "You're telling me that all this time you've been the person responsible for destroying my career? For turning my life upside down when I was already drowning?" "It wasn't personal. It was just business. I never even saw the individual names until recently. Just business." Tyler's voice rose, and Jessica glanced toward the bedroom where Chloe slept. He lowered his volume, but the anger remained. "Do you have any idea what that just business decision meant for me? I lost my job 3 months after burying my wife. I had a 7-year-old daughter to support, no income, and a mortgage I couldn't pay. I lost my house, Jessica. We lived in a motel for 6 weeks while I figured out how to survive." Jessica felt sick. "I didn't know." "Tyler, I'm so sorry." "Sorry?" He laughed bitterly. "You've been lying to me for months. Every time Chloe talked about wanting a bigger house, every time I mentioned struggling with bills, you knew. You knew you were the reason behind all of it, and you said nothing. I was afraid of this, of losing you. So instead, you just kept lying." Tyler grabbed his jacket. "I need to get Chloe and go home." "Tyler, please. Can we talk about this?" "What's there to talk about? You're a billionaire CEO who destroyed my life as a footnote in some quarterly report. I'm a dispatcher who fell in love with someone who didn't exist." He paused at the doorway. The Jessica I thought I knew would never hide something like this. But maybe I never really knew you at all. He woke Chloe gently, wrapping her in a blanket. The little girl's sleepy voice cut through Jessica's heart. "Is Jessica coming?" "Not tonight, sweetheart." "But why? Did something happen?" Tyler's eyes met Jessica's one last time. "Yeah, baby. Something happened." The door closed behind them with a quiet click that echoed like thunder. Jessica stood alone in her pristine penthouse, surrounded by luxury that suddenly felt hollow. The sunflowers Chloe had picked sat wilting in a vase. A crayon drawing of the 3 of them, holding hands, hung on her refrigerator. And for the first time in her adult life, Jessica Monroe had no idea how to fix what she had broken. She sank onto the couch where Chloe had been sleeping just minutes before, clutching one of the child's hair ribbons that had been left behind. Success had always come easy to Jessica. Love, apparently, was much more complicated and infinitely more painful to lose. 4 days of silence, the Monroe Entertainment Group. Headquarters occupied 42 floors of gleaming steel and glass in downtown Los Angeles. Jessica sat in her corner office on the top floor, staring at the city below without really seeing it. For days had passed since Tyler walked out. For days of silence that felt like for years, her assistant Patricia had noticed the change immediately. The usually focused CEO now stared blankly at reports, forgot meetings, and had stopped returning investor calls with her typical sharp efficiency. "Another coffee, Ms. Monroe?" Patricia asked carefully, setting down the 5th cup of the day. Jessica didn't even look up. "I ruined everything, Patricia." Her assistant, who had worked with Jessica for 12 years, sat down uninvited. "Then fix it." "I don't know how." "He won't answer my calls. I sent flowers to his apartment, and they came back. I even tried showing up at the dispatch center, but security wouldn't let me past the lobby." "What?" Patricia folded her hands. "What exactly did you do?" Jessica finally met her eyes. "I fell in love with a man whose life my business decisions destroyed. And then I lied about who I was for 3 months. Patricia nodded slowly. "That's complicated, you think?" Jessica laughed without humor. "His daughter made me drawings, Patricia. She called me her princess. And now she probably thinks I just disappeared without caring." "Did you?" "What? Disappear without caring?" Jessica's voice broke. "I care more than I've ever cared about anything. But Tyler made it clear he doesn't want to see me. How do I fix something when the other person won't even talk to me?" Patricia stood, straightening her blazer. "You're Jessica Monroe. You built an empire from nothing. You faced down hostile boardrooms and cutthroat competitors. And you're telling me you can't figure out how to fight for the people you love?" After Patricia left, Jessica sat in the silence of her office. Then she did something she hadn't done in years. She called her father. "Jessica, is something wrong?" His voice held immediate concern. Phone calls during business hours meant crisis. "Dad, when you and Mom were building the company, did you ever have to choose between business and personal happiness?" Her father was quiet for a moment. "Why are you asking?" "I made decisions that hurt someone I love. Business decisions that were right for the company, but destroyed his life. And now I don't know how to make it right. Jessica, in business, we make hard choices. That's leadership. But what about in life? What good is all this success if I'm alone at the top?" Her father sighed. "Your mother asked me that same question 30 years ago. I chose the company. She chose to leave. And I've regretted that decision every single day since." Jessica had never heard her father sound so vulnerable. "What should I do?" "Fight for it. For them. And if you have to choose love. The company will survive without you. Your heart won't." An unexpected visitor on the 5th day. Jessica was reviewing contracts when Patricia buzzed through. "It's Ms. Monroe. There's a visitor here without an appointment. She's quite insistent. I'm not seeing anyone today. She says her name is Chloe Bennett. She's 7 years old and claims she's here to save your life." Jessica's heart stopped. "Send her in now." The office doors opened, and there stood Chloe, wearing her school uniform with mismatched socks, her backpack nearly as big as she was. Behind her, looking mortified, was Tyler's neighbor, Mrs. Chen, who Chloe had apparently recruited as her accomplice. "I'm so sorry," Mrs. Chen said quickly. "She told me it was a school project, to interview a CEO. By the time I realized what she was really doing, we were already in the elevator." Chloe marched straight to Jessica's desk, her little face set with determination. "You made my daddy cry?" Jessica felt tears spring to her eyes. "I know, sweetheart. I'm so sorry he thinks you don't love us anymore." "It's not true. I love you both so much." Chloe climbed onto the chair across from Jessica, her feet dangling. "Then why did you lie?" Jessica came around the desk and knelt before the little girl. "Because I was scared. I made a mistake at my job a long time ago that hurt your daddy, and I was afraid if he knew who I really was, he wouldn't like me anymore. But lying is bad. My teacher says lying makes things worse. Your teacher's very smart." "You're right, Chloe. I should have been honest from the beginning. Chloe reached into her backpack and pulled out a folded piece of paper. I made this for you. It's a forgiveness flower. When someone makes a mistake, you give them a flower, and it means you still love them, even though they messed up. The drawing showed 3 stick figures holding hands, surrounded by purple flowers. The labels read Daddy, Chloe, and Jessica. At the top, in careful child handwriting, it said Family Forever. Jessica couldn't hold back her tears anymore. Chloe, this is the most beautiful thing anyone has ever given me. Daddy needs one too, Chloe said matter-of-factly. He's been really sad. He doesn't make pancakes anymore, and he forgets to sing in the car. Can you fix him? I don't know if he wants me to. He does. He's just stubborn. Chloe said it with such adult exasperation that both Jessica and Mrs. Chen smiled through their tears. My mommy used to say that when people love each other, they have to be brave enough to say sorry and brave enough to forgive. Are you brave? Jessica took Chloe's small hands in hers. I'm going to try to be. Friday morning Courage Tyler's dispatch center was located in a nondescript building near the freeway. Jessica had to talk her way past to security checkpoints. But she refused to leave until someone agreed to give Tyler a message. Finally, his supervisor agreed to pass along a note during his break. Jessica waited in the lobby for 2 hours. She had cleared her entire calendar, much to Patricia's delight. Several people recognized her and whispered, but she ignored them. Nothing mattered except seeing Tyler. When he finally emerged, he looked exhausted. His eyes were shadowed with lack of sleep, and his usual easy smile was nowhere to be seen.
Oh.
What are you doing here? I needed to see you. To apologize properly. She stood, suddenly nervous in a way boardrooms never made her feel. Can we talk, please? Tyler looked like he wanted to refuse, but something in her expression made him nod. They walked to a small park across the street and sat on a bench overlooking a playground.
Chloe came to see me, Jessica started. Tyler's head snapped up.
What? When? Yesterday? She showed up at my office with your neighbor. Tyler, she's worried about you. He rubbed his face. I told her you were busy with work. That sometimes adults have to focus on their jobs. She knows better. She knows I hurt you, and she knows you're sad. Jessica pulled out Chloe's drawing. She made this. A forgiveness flower. Tyler stared at the picture, his jaw working. Jessica, I don't know what you want me to say. Really explain. She took a breath. You're right. I lied, and that was wrong. But I need you to understand that when I met you, I wasn't thinking about business or acquisitions or anything corporate. I was just a woman being harassed who got rescued by an incredible man. And when did you figure out who I was? 2 weeks after we started dating. I was reviewing quarterly reports from 3 years ago, and I saw your name on the Bennett & Associates roster. I should have told you immediately. I was terrified of losing what we had. Tyler was quiet for a long moment. Do you have any idea what those weeks were like for me? After losing my job on top of everything else, I pawned my wedding ring to make rent. I skipped meals so Chloe could eat. I felt like a complete failure. Jessica's voice shook. I can't change what my company did, but I can tell you what I'm doing now. I've established a victim assistance fund for employees affected by corporate restructuring. It's retroactive for 5 years. Every person who lost their job, including you, will receive compensation based on their salary and length of employment. I don't want your guilt money. It's not guilt money. It's the right thing to do. Something I should have implemented years ago. She turned to face him fully. Tyler, I spent my whole life building a company, making my parents proud, proving I was smart enough, tough enough, successful enough. But none of it means anything without you and Chloe. You showed me what actually matters, Jessica. I'm not asking you to forgive me right away. I'm just asking for a chance to prove that the woman who fell in love with you and your daughter is real. The CEO part is what I do, but being with you is who I want to be. Tyler looked at the drawing again, his thumb tracing over Chloe's careful letters. She really went to your office? Marched right past security like she owned the place. She's got your determination and her mother's bravery. Small smile finally touched Tyler's lips. She gets that from both of us, I think. I love you. I love Chloe. I love the way you make pancakes on Fridays and the way she names all her stuffed animals after dinosaurs. I love that you taught me what family actually feels like, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to earn your trust again." Tyler was quiet for so long that Jessica's heart began to sink. Then he spoke, his voice rough with emotion. "Chloe asked me this morning why you left. I told her you didn't leave, that I sent you away because I was hurt. And she said, 'But Daddy, when I hurt you, you don't send me away. You hug me, and we fix it together.'" Jessica felt fresh tears spill down her cheeks.